afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to another video with a guy and his projects. Again, we have the 2004 F250 Super Duty 6.0 liter 4x4 on the rack, and we are doing the front brakes. So if you remember a couple weeks ago, a month ago, whatever it was, we did the rear brakes. I'm actually filming this in the same day, but because you guys don't like how much I talk and how long my videos are, this has been chopped into two pieces. So if you want to see the rear brakes, go watch that video. If you want to see the front brakes, that's this video. You're in the right place. So the problem right now is when you're driving and braking, you get some steering wheel shimmy, right? It's been that way for a while. I've been ignoring it. I've been assuming warped rotors. Well, now we're getting to the point where if you're going downhill and you're braking, you get pretty much death wobble. It's no more a shimmy, it's a brrrr. So we did the rear brakes, and what we found is the guide pins were seized on the passenger side, like seized, like not moving. Therefore, when your pistons on your caliper compress, only the inside pad was making contact with the rotor. That will cause problems. The driver's side wasn't bad, the passenger side was horrible. Now we're doing the front side, and on the front side, similar issue with the passenger side, only nowhere near as advanced, is the top pin, the upper pin, top pin was loose. The bottom pin was seized in place, and I had to air hammer the sucker off. So it was doing similar things there, only it was pulling the caliper in crooked because that's all it could do, because one pin wouldn't move. So all that can contribute to steering vibration when you're braking, death wobble when you're braking, warped rotors, all of that's bad, no. So we're replacing all of it, not the calipers, but we're replacing the pins, the boots, the rotors, and the brake pads. All right, so what I'm using, I will link this stuff down below. I'll link all the parts, all the tools I'm using down on Amazon. If you buy them after clicking on my links, or buy anything after clicking on my links, I make money, so help me out there. Click on the link for the rotor and then go buy some diapers, whatever, I don't care. I get commission off of what you buy after clicking on links. So we have the new rotors. This is a 100% coated rotor. You're not supposed to remove the coating. It's supposed to naturally come off on the brake pads, which are not supposed to stick to the brake pads, and it just turns into dust, probably makes your rims dirty, but that's what the instructions say. Just let it ride. They say it's okay. So we got a new rotor, we got new pads, we got new guide pins and boots. There's one boot. Where'd my other boot go? Uh-oh. I had the door open. How much you want to bet it blew outside? Nope, way over there. I went rolling. It went rolling. Of course, the pads come with new hardware, so that's what we're installing. We're going to install it on the driver's tire. I got new lights. Again, I haven't edited the last video, so I don't know if these flicker. So if they flicker, you're going to end up with two videos with flickers. Sorry, not much I can do there at the moment. Tools, a variety of things. I just did fronts and back, so there's a couple extra tools here. We did need the air hammer both back and on the front. I did drill out the guide pin holes on the front as well because that bottom one was seized in. I don't know what size drill bit that is, and it's worn off, so I can't tell you. We got an impact. You don't need it. I like to use it. A couple pry bars, just a variety of stuff. I will link all the goos I use, the brake parts cleaner, the silver or aluminum anti-seize, and the high temp copper anti-seize. I'll link all that, but for right now, first step, I'm going to take off the tire. No, you do not need this up in the air. If you want to just jack this tire, you can. I would recommend before you do it though, whichever tire you're doing, get the caliper, which is towards the cabin of the truck, get the caliper out. So turn your steering wheel to the passenger side for this tire. Just makes things easier. You don't have to do that, just makes things more accessible. And then jack up this side. Too crooked. Alright, so now what I want to do, I want to grab this and rotate it so that the caliper is just a little easier to access. Alright, now hopefully we're not experiencing flickering. So first thing I'm going to do on this is, no, these brake pads actually don't look bad. They're probably only half worn. But because I believe we have warped rotors, I'm getting rid of them and the rotors. It's a very expensive job to do, but way cheaper if you can do it yourself. So first thing I'm going to do is take the pins out for this caliper, which are a variety of different sizes I'm finding. Every wheel's slightly different. I'm going to bop that loose, come down here, there's one right below it on the bottom of the caliper. Once those are broken loose, if you get lucky, you can pull these out without having to wrench on them the whole way. Oh yeah. Now I'm going to use my pry bars. I'm going to stick this in here. Not that one, that's too big. Smaller one. Stick it in there, turn it sideways. And I want to pry this way to try and compress the piston. You want your brake reservoir open, by the way. You don't want it closed right now. You want it open so that you can squeeze this fluid out. Okay. Don't worry about getting it all the way. We're just making it easy to come off. We will go in and compress these pistons here later. But now they come off super easy, just like that. I'm just going to move this to the front like there, let it hang, and piss everybody off that hates that. Alright, so now I'm going to take these guys out of here. Hopefully you guys can see. Those out of here, and then we can peel our brakes off. So as you can see, there's plenty of life left on there. I mean, they're not new, but I would say they're only half worn probably. These ones actually look like they're worn pretty evenly. It's the passenger side that seems to be the problem on this truck right now. Yeah, they actually look really even. Good. Alright, so your pads are out. Now we can feel our guide pin. So this guide pin is nice and loosey juicy. That's what you want. That's the way it should be. That's the way, or this is the one that was stuck on that side. See, this one is stuck on this side. See how it won't move? Okay, so we want to address that before we take the caliper bracket off, just because it's way easier now. This one we can go ahead and pull out. Looks like it's got some good grease on there, and that's probably what helped it stay alive. This one, actually, so it is the same way as the other side. There's a difference. So this pin is straight. There's no recess. For some reason, Ford decided to put a little collar, a rubber collar on one of these. The other one, it was on the bottom. That's the one that sees. This one's on top. And that's the one that sees. Why there's a collar on there, I don't know, but it seems to be a problem. Before I start air hammering it off, I want to grab these hardwares, retaining slides, whatever you want to call them. Unless, of course, they don't want to come off. Ah! 3 out of 4. And there's 4. Alright. And now we're going to air hammer this sucker off. So it spins, it just won't go in and out. So we're just going to put the air hammer on here and let her go. There we go. There it goes. Come on. It's coming. I think. Just sticky. There we go. See that rubber collar right there? That seems to be causing us problems. I don't know why it's there, but we got to reuse that on the next one to make it the way it was when it came out. I should be done with the air hammer now. Again, before I pull this bracket off, I'm going to drill these holes out in hopes of getting any grime or gunk. And this is a 15/32 drill bit I'm using. Which is just slightly small, which is okay. Yep, it's got a lot of grime and nastiness on it. The other thing I want to do to that is I want to start getting some brake cleaner in there to remove any old grease. See, John, hopefully you saw how gross that was. See how brown that is? Starting to get a little clearer, and the same thing on the bottom. And I'm out of brake clean. So that's as far as I go on there. We'll clean it more when it comes out. Now I can go ahead and break these loose, which I believe are 21mm. Oh, And I just pinched my finger. If you've watched any of the other Super Duty videos, you'll have seen that I've had these off quite frequently, therefore they're not overly seized at all. But we've got in here for quite a bit of maintenance. We've done U-joints, we've done ball bearings. We've done wheel hub bearings a few times on this truck, unfortunately. And we've done some things, so oops. Anti-seize is still good on those, so we don't even have to re-anti-seize. Put that down there and take our rotor off. Alright, so just like when we did the back a few weeks ago, I'm just going to spend some time. I'm going to fill these holes up where the pins go with the cleaner. We're just going to let it soak for a little bit. That is disgusting in there. And I would like to liquefy any old grease that might be sitting in there. Alright, so this would be a good time to clean anything else up you want to clean up. There's not really anything. I just had these off like, I don't know, 6-8 months ago to do the wheel hub bearings, so I'm not too worried about that. So essentially we can put our rotor back on, and then we're ready to put that back on once you're finished cleaning it. I'm going to let that soak for a little bit, clean a little bit, and yeah, I don't want any more brown stuff coming out of there. It's still pretty gross, so oops, I need a toothbrush. Okay, so at this point, we also want to clean where the brake pad hardware goes. Make sure there's no grud. Again, I just had these off not that long ago, so mine are actually in pretty good condition. Not too worried about it. Alright, let me grab the new rotor. Alright, new rotor is going on.
Power off.
Just like so. At which point you can take your brake caliper bracket and you can also install that. I like to use anti-seize. This was not that off that long ago. There's still anti-seize on these bolts. So we're just going to reinstall as is. There's the top one. Well, having this light right in my face makes it warmer than it actually is in here. I mean, it's pretty warm in here. So we're going to get that one snugged up, and then we'll tighten this one. Again, I will post I will put torque specs to the best of my knowledge on the bottom of your screen or somewhere on your screen as I can find them, if I can find them. Again, look them up for yourself. Don't trust me, I'm just a guy on YouTube. I'm gonna go for right about here, which is right there. Alright, now when you gotta put our guide pins in. This is a complicated process, apparently. I don't have... all I want to do is goop a little bit in there, put the boots on, put the things in, that's it. Alright, so one thing I am going to do, against my better judgment, is I want to take this rubber bushing off of this one, even though it seems to make things worse. I don't want to reuse that on the new pins, because as you can see it comes with two pins, one straight and one that takes a bushing, but it doesn't come with the bushing, which is dumb, because I can't imagine this is expensive, but apparently it doesn't come with it. So we're going to slide that on. I want to grab my grease. I'm just going to put a blob in there. That way when the pin goes in, it kind of pushes it around on the sides. Right or wrong, can't answer that, but it's the way I do it. What I can assume is you don't want a lot in there, because you don't want it to, which probably looks like I just put a lot in there, but you don't want it to all get jammed down on the back side and then not be usable. This, I kind of shove my finger in, start on one side and then just kind of work it around. Sometimes it happens on the first try, sometimes it happens on the 20th try. Sometimes it happens on the third try and then you take it off because you don't believe that it happened. Like I did there. So on the other wheel, this one with the rubber thing was on the bottom, and on this side it's on top. I'm going to make the assessmently guesstimation error that it doesn't matter. But just for funsies, I'll put it back where it was. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know why they do that. makes it, there it goes. All right, to get this boot over the lip of this pin is kind of a pain in the butt. I use my thumbnails like that. If you got them, it's the best I can do. And slide her in. This one goes in easier. Again, I use my thumbnails. Just kind of pop it over like that. We need to grab our hardware and latch that in place. These are directional, so if you feel like you're doing it wrong, it's very possible you might be doing it wrong. Alright, as far as brake pads go, I just grease the ears that slide on those pins we just installed. And that's all I do. Some people don't like to do that because it will collect dirt, allegedly, and allow this to not slide later. And that's fine. You are welcome to not do it. I do it. Don't care what you do. I'm just a guy in the garage doing my thing. You guys, you trust me with your cars, that's up to you. If you don't trust me with your cars, that's up to you. Either way, I'm okay. Okay. Alright, now to the caliper. Usually I do this earlier in the process and I kind of forgot, but whatever. So, my caliper spreader, I will link down below. I like it. There's other ones out there that are cool too. It's just the one I bought. I like it, I keep using it. And I will link it down there for you. Oh yeah, now we're dripping brake fluid, so the reservoir is overflowing. Thought it was raining. It's raining outside right now. I kind of thought it was raining in here for a second. I thought it got a leak in the roof. Okay. Like I said, the reservoir should be open for this so that it can go up and down. Alright, so now I'm going to kind of clean this off. I should have done that first, but whatever. I grabbed one of these brushes at Tractor Supply a while ago. It doesn't fit in the smaller car stuff, but it fits in these ones good. Breathe deep. Get all the dust you can in your lungs, but here it's healthy. Knots. Clean that off with a little spray here. Alright. So what I do with calipers is I like to grease anything that contacts the pads. I used to just grease the back of the pad, but then I realized you end up with a lot more grease than if you just grease the caliper where it touches. So you know the pistons touch, so you grease those. And you know these little ears here touch, so I grease those. So again, I'm not like globbing it on, even though it looks like it. I'm just coating the surface, if you will. Alright, so then before the caliper goes on, you got to put your little spring releasers in here. What purpose these serve, on an official note, I don't know. I think they just I think they just assist push the pads off of the rotor when you brake. But anyway, alright, before we get too excited about the rest, we're going to take our caliper mounting bolts. And I'm going to use my aluminum anti-seize here, just a little, that's a lot of a little. See if I can clean it up. Well, we're going to use that much anti-seize on the caliper mounting bolts. So that's what came out. Alright, so I'm going to take our caliper, make sure the bleeder stays in the up position. You do not want to mount this upside down. I'm going to kind of wrap this around your caliper or your brake pads. There you go. You can depress your little slide pins so that it fits in there. And then grab a bolt, grab your other bolt. Sometimes this can be frustrating to get them started. Why this gets difficult, I don't know, but sometimes it just does. So this we are calling a 17 mil. Alright, torque specs I will try to put on your screen somewhere with what I can find. It should be right about there though. And this one should be probably somewhere right about there. That's about torqued as good as it's going to get from me. Alright, so then I'm going to drag this, put it back to straight, put your tire back on. That's going to be easier. Okay. Alright. Just like that. Right there. Okay, so at this point, we still have our reservoir cap off. As you can see, that is plumb full, which is to be expected. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jump in the cab here. Oh, and I'm just gonna kind of pump the brakes. Yeah, I know the truck is off, that's okay. So we get a couple good presses out of there. And then what I'm gonna do, we're gonna look, we're still pretty full, so that didn't take up much room, and that's okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fire the truck up. I'm not gonna really video it because you won't be able to hear anything once I do. I wanna fire the truck up, and I'm gonna depress the brake over and over and over until it feels pretty solid, or as solid as normal. In which case, we should be full, or we should be good on the reservoir. And if you're still maxed out, you can suck some out with a little turkey baster or something. If it's good, then you're good. The max lineup on these is pretty high, so you might just be fine without it. But that's what I'm gonna do, so. All right, as far as breaking in the pads go, I'm gonna keep this short, so I'm just gonna go over it. I've got several videos where I break in pads in the past. All we're gonna do is we're gonna get on the road after we pump the brakes a few times and we trust the brakes. We're gonna get on the road somewhere empty where nobody is, not a lot of people, and we're gonna accelerate to about 30 miles an hour, and then I'm gonna slowly brake down to stop, and then I'm gonna go back to 30 and slowly brake down. I'm gonna do that 10, 15, 20 times, and then at that point, as far as I'm concerned, brakes are broken in, they're set, they're where they need to be. There might be some smoking, that's okay. With these rotors, I don't know about the coating. I think it just turns to dust and disappears on everything else, but we'll find out. But that's what I'm gonna do. Guys, thanks for watching. There's a ton of videos on the Super Duty, ton on Super Duties in general, not just this one. I've done work on V10 6.2's excursions, this guy, which is the diesel. There's tons of videos out there, guys. Keep watching, stay tuned, peruse the channel. We're pretty close to 300 videos if we haven't hit it already. And yeah, I'm gonna keep posting if you guys keep watching. Everything's linked down below on Amazon. There's some donation links as well. Adios, thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.